No call.
Warning, Neo detected. Warning, Neo detected.
All right. How's everybody doing tonight? Hope you are doing well. My name is 12 Gauge. I am your host, and this is 12 Gauge Investigative. I hope everybody had an awesome day today. Whoa, the mic is way across the room. What the hell am I doing? Um, actually, I just got off of not got off, but I was watching I was watching another live stream, and I try not to belch on you guys. But anyways, I hope y'all had a good Monday. As you can tell, I'm still wearing some orange for Indian. I can't even say the word Indigenous Day, I guess. So excuse me for messing that word up. But anyways, I thought that I'd get on here. I thought I'd get on here and I'd put some photos up. Gosh, God bless them. God bless them. I'm not in the mood to debate. So if you're coming in here to debate or to tell me how wrong I am or this or that and the other, go ahead and just stay out because I don't want to hear it. I really don't. I just got on live because, like many people have said, I can't say anything nice, say it on my channel. So that's what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So, um, I thought I'd get on here and I'd go over some of these photos that I saw earlier and talk about some of them because there's some that I haven't really seen before. So I thought I'd get on here and talk about some of this. Of course, we've all seen the infamous photo of the four. And this says the victims of November 13th University of Idaho massacre. Oh, it's hard to look at these photos and not, even after all this time, it's hard to imagine that these individuals did not have a day after November 13th to live on this earth, and that is so tragic. And that's what I try to remember. You know, I try to remember that these individuals are the main purpose of all this case, because they're the most important piece of the puzzle. They were the one that lost out. Do I care about Koberger? No. Do I believe that he deserved to be innocent until proven guilty? Of course. Does it matter to me whether he wears a suit in court or not? Not really. Does it matter to me whether the family is asking for money for a GoFundMe? No. Like I told somebody earlier, I said, all of us talk about this on a daily basis as streamers or commentary people or whatever you want to call us. And we all get a revenue at the end of the month if we're monetized on the videos that are watched on this topic. I felt it my obligation to donate some of the proceeds because there's individuals out there that call people grifters because they get money for somebody's tragedy. And, I thought to myself, you know what? That person has a point. I'm not going to be a grifter. I'm going to go donate my money. I can do with it what I want. And who am I to say where and what happens after I give it? It's kind of like those individuals that you see on the side of the road that are holding up signs or they're sitting outside of Walmart and they're asking for money or they're homeless or whatever. So if you give them money, do you have any right to critique them at all if you don't? I wouldn't think so. To me, it's a person down on their luck. Look at that picture right there. They seem so happy. They really possibly loved each other very deeply. But what I'm saying is, you know, who is who are we to say the family asking for money? It's any of our business why, how, and any of that other stuff. I know that I'm hearing the narratives. Well, there's free housing, there's free this, there's free that. But do you really know? Do you really know? I don't either, Aquarius. I really don't. I try not to. If I want to give money to somebody, it's nobody's freaking business what I do with my money. And I don't think it's anybody else's business what other people do with their money. But to call a family out to say they're grifters because they're asking for money to attend a trial to potentially see if this guy is the killer, to finally put peace in their heart, not only them, but everybody involved in that family. So of course, I love this statement right there. I bet they would return every penny if it would bring those kids back, not just theirs, all of them. Exactly. I always watch this video, not always, but when I run across it, we really don't know these individuals, but I believe over time we've gotten a chance to really have an opinion over who they are or who they were. And she looked like an individual that just loved that dog. And she enjoyed her life the best she knew how. These two also, Dana and Maddie. I don't know how many of y'all have gone to college, and it doesn't matter if you haven't, because my comment isn't going to be derogatory one way or the other. But if you've gone to college and you actually remember what it was like when you met friends there and you got along and you felt like, oh my God, these people are my people. These people get my humor. These people get my silliness. They get my jokes. They get all this stuff. These are my people. You spend a lot of time together. Whether you're in sororities, fraternities, any of that, you're still a student on that campus and you're hanging out with your best friends and you're enjoying life. And that's what I see when I look at these pictures. I see these individuals who found each other, became friends, and they were enjoying their lives together because they have found their people, the people that understood them, the people that got their jokes, the people that they could lean on when they were having problems. You meet people from different nationalities, different countries, and you learn a lot about life in the beginning in college, and it's an awesome time whether you're drinking, whether you're not, whether you're experimenting in drugs, whether you're jumping from relationship to relationship or whether you're single, whatever you choose to do, it's about making your way without the constraints of being told what to do, you know? And these pictures define that, in my opinion. Like this one right here, it's such an innocent moment, you know? Sitting on a boat, looks like they're drinking coffee, smiling for the camera, and happy to just be in that moment. And it's so tragic that we look at photos and we look at videos, and instead of finding the most beautiful moments of that exposure, some people choose to make it the most perverse, derogatory, evil moment of these kids' lives. And many have said, if it was my child or if that was my child, I believe that you can say anything you want about if this was to happen. But when it finally does happen, you don't know how you're going to react because you're not going to be thinking clearly. Just kind of like when we have somebody pass away in our lives and we say, well, they might be ill or they might be, having a health issue. And I do understand they're not going to be around very much longer. I've kind of learned to accept it. You can say all you want. The moment they're no longer here and that love is ripped from your heart, it's like the world just gets turned upside down and all the preparation and all the stuff that you said, none of it comes to fruition. And the same thing if you lose somebody in a tragic way, you can say, you think these families were thinking, well, we just saw our loved ones a couple of hours ago. Some of us drove home, some of us were still there in the process of driving home. Do you think when they got those phone calls, you think they didn't go into shock of the madness that was going on? Everybody telling you your family member had just been killed. So I ask you, how would you react? Would you be as calm as we portray to be on this internet, on this YouTube? How we portray to say we would do this or we would do that? I can tell you that I would want to handle it with class, but I'd probably lose my freaking mind. And I'd be so angry I'd want somebody accountable. It wouldn't matter who it was. If you told me that this person had the capability of being the one that hurt my family member or even killed them, like I shared with you guys when my uncle got killed, I wanted justice. I was 17 years old. My family literally had to hold me back from going down there and doing something stupid because at that point I didn't care. I didn't care. I didn't care about consequences. And that was just my uncle. I can't imagine losing these precious people and not wanting justice at all cost and being told by the police you can't speak what you know. We're not going to tell you very much. And the only news that you're getting is secondhand information from sources. And for 2 years, almost 3 years, you've been hearing all these theories, all these hypotheses, all this stuff. You don't think it hurts these families? Mr. Kernodle, right here. You know, I don't even know his first name. I think it's Brett or something. I think Xana's sister's name was Jasmine or something. You know why I don't know their names? Because I believe that when people are hurting, they deserve privacy. I believe that when people have lost a loved one, that they're what they've done in their lives or who's in their family is none of anybody's business to be digging into. And I'm not saying what we as podcasters and streamers do. People are going to do what they do. I do a lot of IDAHO4 cases, but I very seldom dig into the families or the connections to the kids. I'll leave that part alone. I keep it very simple and specific. Can you imagine if this was you and these were your daughters and you looking back on this picture and you noticing that this daughter was no longer alive and how you heard she died? How tragic that would be to you? And then you're having people laughing about the crime and minimizing it and trying to say that the person who supposedly killed your daughter deserved more right than your daughter who lost her life? I ask you, does that honestly make sense to you? And I want you to leave everything on the off the table. Everything that you know about this case, every theory that you've heard, everything. I want you just to look at these pictures and look at the real reason that this case first captivated you because you probably thought these young people were killed before they even got a chance to live. And then for some reason you turned it around into he deserved it because they supposedly got into a fight that night. So he deserved what he got. And they don't deserve a scholarship. How dare they be the first one to get the scholarship? See, it's all a coup for the families to get money. Tell me that makes sense. These triplets were close as they say they were, or are. These two are still alive. If they're as close as they said they were, you can't tell me that they're living their best life and saying, well, everything that's being said about my brother, I'm going to just act like it's not even being said. Everything that I hear about my brother, it's okay. I trust where it's coming from. How would you handle it if you heard half the stuff that was being said about your deceased sibling? How somebody supposedly knows more than you know. Even if you know the facts and you know that didn't happen, the audacity for somebody to drag your family member's memory through the mud, all in the name of entertainment and speculation. Tell me, these people should just be like, oh, it's only a joke. I really did mean what I said. It was just a reflection that I thought I saw. You can't hold me accountable for that. I said this was just speculation and for entertainment purposes. No, that doesn't get you off the hook, bro. You're vile. You and anybody else who's ever had defamation on these families is vile. To call any of these families names, it's vile. Just vile. Think what you want. But for you to be spitting stuff out there like it's factual based on a reflection that you see, that is vile. Look at this family. This mother has been drugged through the ringer because she wrote a book about her son. Because this father and this mother chose to not attend any of the court cases. And this family is trying to heal the best way they know how. It's not good enough for the internet. It's not good enough for YouTube. You know why it's not good enough? Because if it was good enough, you wouldn't have any content to talk about. This was a happy moment for this family. Do you think those smiles still are there knowing that there's one person missing? Do you think that? How does anybody know what these family members and the other family member that I showed and the one that's locked up, the two that are locked up, how do you know how they feel every day waking up? You know, many people can fake it for the camera, but behind the scenes, you don't know what's going on. I don't know. But I can tell you, when you lose somebody, you're just not happy go lucky. And you're not thinking about monetary value. You're not thinking about money. You're not thinking about all this stuff. Do you think these families actually care about money? They care about going on with their lives because this case has taken so much from their lives. But to call them names and put them down and to assume that they are not right because they weren't grieving the way you thought they should. It's vile. To think that every little thing they did was some sort of conspiracy. Like they're showing us something in these photos that we could look at to solve a crime. This is from the work where they worked at, which is, I just saw another creator talk about they closed their doors. It is with a broken heart and deep sadness to share with you that we've lost two of our own here at Mad Greek. Dana and Maddie have been servers here for several years and brought so much joy to our restaurant and all those they encountered. Maddie was also the face behind our social media pages. With this incredible loss, we have shut down the process and grieve. Our deepest sympathies go out to all the friends and families of Xana, Maddie, Ethan, and Kaylee. We as a team offer our support to anyone in need at this time. Jackie and all the Mad Greek family. You will be greatly missed. Thank you for being a part of our family, our team, and for helping me so much over the years. Until we meet again, love the world, best boss. To this lady who was their boss or the owner, these people were real. She saw them every day, worked with them, worked with them, probably laughed with them, probably saw those smiles every day and their joking around and their antics. But the internet has twisted it so much that they want us to think that there were hookers on the side or only fan models, or that we are prevalent to know how ghastly that these individuals died. People keep wanting more and more and more. We want to know. We want to know. Show it the pictures. Show it the pictures. I'm sure that's how you'd be with your loved ones, right? You'd be wide open for the world to see your loved one dead on a bed, all cut up. I'm sure you'd be okay with that, right? Here's a sign that says we're closed temporarily in return. To mourn the loss of two staff members, we will update Facebook on the status of store soon. Please keep all the family and friends of yesterday's victims in your thoughts. I don't believe that it's real to a lot of people because most people are not from Idaho. There's some people right here that in this chat that are from that area, you know? I can't imagine going and seeing this and then listening to what I listen to on these streams day in, day out. The fake anger about money, the fake anger about family members who have no right to be talking about anything. They need to just shut up and go sit down somewhere. We need to be talking about Brian's innocence, not anything else. Think a minute. Look around you. If you're listening to this and you have your loved one near you, you'd be cool with if they got killed. You'd be cool with people telling you, hey, don't be so mad. They're innocent till proven guilty, remember? Don't be so mad. He's innocent. But he killed my loved one. Still, he's innocent until proven guilty. Remember that. You shouldn't cry. You shouldn't grieve. Suck it up. By the way, can we see the pictures? Can you tell us the bloody details? Can you tell us everything that we want to see? Because we deserve it. We deserve to know. Who are we? Honestly, who are we? Who are we? I can only speak for myself, and I'm nobody special. I'm just somebody that has a channel on here that talks about this case and other cases. But you know what? It hurts to think and to hear all that I hear on a daily basis. You don't want to give to the GoFundMe? Don't give. But keep your mouth shut about it. None of your business. If you're not giving your money to it, how do you have any dog in the fight? Honestly, start a GoFundMe for yourself and go to the trial and see exactly whether he's innocent or whether he's guilty. Then you can know for yourself without anybody else's explanation the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. But many won't do that. They'd rather sit behind this computer screen and judge people harshly. I was in a chat earlier, and one person the person in the chat, and this one individual that has came in my chat and started drama, started attacking somebody else, calling them names and all this other stuff. And I was like, he's not even doing anything. Why are you calling him Why are you calling him names? Why are you even have anything to say about this man? Do you hate your life that much that the only joy you get is to go into these chats and cause chaos? Because your picture sure does look like you hate your life. It really does. And that's no judgment, but I've never seen you comment anything good on anything but this one channel, and that's it. But like I was told, if you don't like what's said in this channel, keep moving. Well, that said to me that, you know what, I need to stay on my channel. I don't need to comment on other people's stuff because it's a waste of my time and it's a waste of my energy. But I can tell you this, there's a lot of ugly, vile people in these chats. And they bounce around from chat to chat, spitting their venom. And for what? What makes them hate humanity so much that they gotta show their superiority toward everybody that they encounter if they don't believe the way they do? You know, y'all talked about mob mentality in Latah County. You talked about, oh, we need to move this case because they're going to burn down the courthouse and they're going to do this, they're going to do that. Well, I think that will just what I see on the other side. I don't really see a lot of people who believe he's guilty arguing with people. I really don't. There might be a few, but I don't see them getting ugly like the other side does. And you know, one thing I don't see? I don't ever see these people that have such maliceness in their heart ever talking about the victims. All they talk about is how innocent Brian Koberger is. He's innocent. They have no evidence. They have none of this. They have none of that. Why aren't you down there protesting the same thing for Steven Stearns? Killed a 13-year-old girl, supposedly. Had tons of child pornography on him. Oh, no, you can't do that because that would really show your character, right? Truth hurts, man. It really does. But you don't have to believe my truth because, like you said, stick to my side, and I am. I'm in my channel speaking my truth. So you don't like it? Get out. You don't have to hear it. These are just photos that are on this page that show a lot of stuff that was very early on. This was Daily Mail, obviously. You know, this building, it looks a lot bigger at nighttime than it does during the day for some reason. Have y'all ever thought that? Have y'all ever thought that? That the Sigma Chi building looks a lot bigger at night? I thought that every time I see it. And think of all these individuals that knew these victims, that knew Xana, they knew Kaylee, they knew Maddie, and they knew Ethan. People paint a picture that that morning only a select few people were affected. Those people that went into that house or were gathered outside, that was all the people that were affected. Do you realize how big this campus is? I guess that's before she told Adam everything. You know? I think that's the night she told Adam everything. Supposedly that's the night 11/13/2022 down here at the bottom. You know, I've heard many arguments over is that Jack D? Are those his shoes? Is that Adam? Is that Chief Fry? Is that Brian Koberger at the very bottom down there? It's like you want to make every person in a photo match up to be who you want it to be. You know, the only two people that I really recognize are Maddie and Kaylee. And for the longest time, when this case first hit, I always thought Maddie was Kaylee, and I always thought Kaylee was Maddie. I don't know why I got them confused like that, but I don't know if y'all did either. But it seemed like their name should be different. You know, they should be the other name for some reason. I don't know in my head. And here's them at the Grub truck. Obviously, there's the guy with the Charlie Brown sweater. You know, that have been made so many unfounded rumors about him. I wonder whose Grub truck video they used to get these images off of. I wonder if it was Huda's or if it was Jeff's or somebody else's. It's interesting to wonder, you know. And there's God, what's his name? Paul Vito? No, what the hell is his name? I can't think of his name. The dude with the Coke can. Joe Vito or something like that. The Fed undercover clicking photos of the two girls because everybody knew what was about to go down and not one person at the Grub truck said anything. Yeah, Joe Vito. What do y'all think about that? Do you believe that theory right there that quote unquote everybody knew what was going down and not one person at the grub truck said anything about these four people are about to get killed? Do you believe that? Do you believe that everybody, because that's how, those are the words people use, everybody. Everybody knew what was going to happen. They were even watching on their phones what was going down. They were cheering. They were putting bets. They were, 400 witnesses there at the grub truck, and those were the ones that were subpoenaed with the surveys. That's what people want you to believe, though. The guy in the number 9 jersey, he slipped something in Maddie's mouth and, he drugged her up. That's why she probably was out of it whenever she got home. What do y'all think about that? I've seen a video by a good friend of mine that he showed me where he zoomed in and he said, "Look, it's a receipt that he's going by her and handing it to the person to get his food, not slipping anything in her mouth. Drugs weren't being put into mac and cheese. None of that. Just a night that could be anybody, anywhere, in any small college town in America. I can tell you in Austin, they have Rainy Street where it has all these food trucks not far from the university where all these people are ending up dead in the lake. They have all these food trucks where people can go and get food after a night of drinking. But here we want you to believe that there's drug deals going on. There's drug deals going on back here. This guy was just a statue. Everybody here is a potential suspect. Exactly. Exactly, Tom. No, I'm good, Jeff. I don't really want to go in there. But thanks anyways. But yeah, this guy right here was later found at an apartment complex by the cops. And I think they had stolen some signs, or he was with the guy that had stolen a sign. And they were questioning him, and they were saying, "Oh my God, he has bruises all over his face. That must mean he just got in a fight with Ethan. He was at the house. How do these people teleport so quickly? How do they teleport so quickly?" Of course, we all want to see proof one way or the other. I'm just talking about the things that I've heard. I'm not making fun of anybody. And if it sounds like I am, I'm not, because these are some of the things that have been said over and over and over. So if it sounds foolish to you or sounds nonsense, well, there's a reason it sounds that way, because you are able to see it in a context where somebody's not trying to convince you of their own bias. Carbonara. That's so sad. So, so sad. And do you ever wonder maybe these four kids weren't as popular as the media has made them to be? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying they weren't popular or liked or anything like that, but I'm not. Maybe they weren't like the popular kids. You know what I mean? Maybe they were just normal college kids that like to have a good time. Viviana did a video of the Grub truck where people were supposed to be watching it online and only one. Yeah, it's cool. Like I said, you're okay in here. You're all right. Bullshit. I wish I could get my hands in Twitch chat for that night. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not making fun of anybody. They do what they do for a reason. They say what they say for a reason. They're the ones that are going to have to answer to this one day, not me. People are accountable for their own stuff, you know? I have all these kids' backs because they've been thrust into something they didn't deserve to be thrust into. Most of them were just there trying to get something to eat, some carbs after drinking or just hanging out. Or maybe they weren't even drunk. Maybe they were sober. Maybe they were just hungry. This was a popular place to go get some food. Let's go get some mac and cheese. Oh, that sounds good any time of the day, you know? A sister of one of the victims said she discovered at least 6 calls from her sister Kaylee's phone between 2:26 and 2:52 made to a boyfriend that Sunday. And how many of you, honestly, think back about this. When you were young, in your 20s, I'm assuming that everybody's older than 20 or 21. I could be wrong. If you're at that age and you're listening, well, pipe in because you're you're right on cue with what's going on with America today. But think about back when you were 20 or 21 years old and you're trying to figure out a relationship and you just broke up with them 3 weeks ago and you're trying to get your life in order and you're planning on moving and you're going to go backpacking or whatever through Europe and you're having all these plans and you're independent, obviously. You know, you're going to be away from your best friend who you've known since 6th grade. And you see your ex at a bar, supposedly. And maybe that conversation didn't go well. Maybe he was being an ass. Maybe he was being a dick. Maybe she was trying to be nice. Maybe Maddie and her were trying to be nice to him. Or they were trying to, figure out what they were going to do with the dog or something of that nature. You just never know. And he didn't give you a definitive answer. So you're trying to figure it all out. You know? Well, I've heard that too, Nina. Yeah, if there was somebody there that maybe you had a booty call scheduled for later on that night, of course. Who would? I wouldn't. I wouldn't answer that phone. Here's some more pictures of the area on the morning of, or you see people just throwing parties and having a great old time because 4 people got murdered over here. That's what people want you to think. They're having a big old party the night after. You remember that post where they said that Dylan supposedly was laughing it up and drunk and all this other stuff the night after the murders happened? Do you remember that? See you later, Jeff. Have a good night. And we've all seen this picture. This is the picture I'm always looking for and can never find. Does that girl look like she knew what was going on? Do they look like they knew what just happened? I'm sure everybody's in shock. And all of a sudden, every news agency in the world is descending on your small town, wanting somebody to know something to tell the news. See, I've always told people these lights were on the night of the crime. So let's back up a little bit here. I don't know if they show it on this one. Okay, let me go forward. I don't know if they show it, but I'll get there eventually. But these lights were on. So you're telling me supposedly this individual walked down here, walked in, walked out, sped off. All the people that are supposedly walking around are running under lights and all this other stuff that nobody saw? Anything? I'm pretty sure we have some eyewitness sights of a person leaving that house. I don't know why I think that, but I believe that somebody saw him leaving. Or it may have been more than one person. I've always thought that because of those lights. Had it been completely dark, then it would have been not plausible in my mind, but I think that somebody could have seen him leaving. And they would have seen not necessarily distinctive features, but they could have seen if there was bushy eyebrows, if the person was clad in black, if they stripped down their clothes, any of that stuff that people have been saying is plausible. Yeah, the DoorDash driver could have seen it because they were there about the same time. Well, let me educate some people because there's some people in other channels that don't know the differences between these vehicles. This blue car right here was Xana's. This is Kaylee's. This is Maddie's. And the red Jeep right here was Ethan and Hunter's, his brothers. And this is Moscow Police Department. So now that we have that clear, y'all can quit mispronouncing these vehicles. See that red Jeep right there? None of these vehicles have any broken windows, any broken lights that you can see. And I'm sure the police didn't break their windows either or put dents in their cars. There's the infamous red panty picture. That's what I thought too, Tom. I wasn't certain on that though. So when they notified him, that's when he drove up in the red Jeep, obviously, right? But there's the infamous red panty picture that Jeff and I have laughed about. But here's a good view right here of the vehicles. I don't see a dent right here. I don't see a broken window. And I don't see any damage right here at all. And for people that aren't vested or know about vehicles, these lines right here were quarter panels and the door has lines when it opens and shuts. So It doesn't destroy the quarter panel. That's why it has these little lines right here. They're not caused by a baseball bat or anything else like that. But do y'all see a broken window right there? I know my eyesight is bad, but I'm just asking for a friend. Y'all see a broken windows on any of these vehicles? Once again, I'm not starting trash. I'm just saying that, you know, just to say stuff to say it is not responsible, especially if you're an adult. You expect that type of behavior from kids. See, I don't see a dent, and that's as much as I can zoom in, but I don't see a broken window. I don't see damage right here. I don't see a dent on the vehicle. I don't see any kind of damage on this vehicle or this vehicle. I'm gonna screenshot them so I can zoom in more. You know, and there's a better shot right there. It's a side view. Do you see any broken glass? Any tint shard up? Any damage right here? You see any dents? No dent right here at all. No dents on this vehicle at all. And I'm sure being a college student, and if they didn't buy these vehicles brand new, there might be a dent or two, might be hail damage. You never know. But to say that something nefarious was going on because you thought that this was a broken window by a baseball bat, and you're willing to stick to that story, that's what makes it so bad. That just breaks my heart right there. It breaks it. It breaks it so, so bad. Oh, just the creator that was making fun of Jeff last night. See, I wanted to screenshot this, and I'm going to see if I can see in here anymore. See if there's any way that you can see clearly any more. These blinds are open a little bit that you can see in there, but I don't think you can because it looks like these blinds have been opened. And this one too, I wanted to see if you could actually see in that room a lot better. See, these lights are on. Hey Toes, how you doing? Glad to see you in here, buddy. Yeah, exactly. Sure is pretty when it snows though. And I always thought that this photo was interesting because it kind of details the landscape really well. You know, it's a slope. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not the most sure-footed person now that I'm older. There's no way I could be like in the dark. And that's why I'm saying those lights were on. He could have seen where he was going and going back out of, whoever it was. See, that's why I'm saying somebody could have been looking out the window, could have been out here sitting down, smoking a cigarette, could have been doing anything in any of these houses. Could have seen a perfect view of what was going on and could have been an eyewitness, you know? We don't know that though. We don't. But for all the people that I mean, I've lived in a college town. I lived in a college town for like 7 years, and I went to a lot of house parties, and there was always those nosy neighbors that were creeping, watching the house you were partying at. I mean, you would step outside there, you could see them like houses away, standing outside the back porch, just peering at the house. So I'm willing to bet that if anybody that wasn't a college kid that lived around there would have been watching this house like a hawk, because the last thing they like is noise, or any type of stuff like that. Exactly. Someone from Queen Apartment could have been walking a dog, and all of a sudden you see somebody running out of the house, jump in their vehicle and leave. You're going to be right there seeing it all. So maybe the narrative that all this stuff was caught on a camera isn't even true. Maybe there were some eyewitnesses. And then people are going to debunk that because they're going to say, well, why wouldn't it put in the PCA? Because, folks, they don't put everything in the PCA, no matter what you believe. And the PCA is not a summary, or it is a summary. It is not, or what did I hear one time? It is a summary of facts as defined by the investigating officer. It is not a, what they call it. I can't think right now. I mean, if you were parked up here at any time during any time of the day or night, there was no blinds on this slider. You could see inside if you were looking. They still make binoculars, right? You wouldn't even have to be parked close. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, can you imagine all the stress people would be getting if they put your name in the PCA because you had an eyewitness account? Good lord. See, there's a porch right here. There's a house right here. There's another area right here. I mean, there's so many little areas to be sitting out and congregating. You can see right into the area. I mean, this is a very big door. And somebody could just be walking out this door, especially if they were stripping down. Can't tell me that they didn't see that. Or even if they didn't strip down. Supposedly the car drove away at a high rate of speed. But let me guess, there wasn't a car either. That's what people want you to believe. There wasn't a car. See, my theory has always been that Bethany kind of crept up these stairs and may have even seen the killer walk by right here before Dylan saw him. I don't know why I feel that way. I don't know why I think that way. But I believe that if Dylan was texting her and she said, "Did you hear that or did you see that?" Kids, they're going to be nosy. They're going to want to know. They're going to want to come out and investigate. They think this is a party goer. They don't think it's a killer. So why would you be scared to creep out of your room and creep up the stairs and look and see what's going on? Because that's what doesn't make sense either is, if it's just a party goer, why are you going to be scared to be moving around your own house? But let's make it something that it's not, because it sounds more interesting. So we can get on here and we can gripe about GoFundMe's and what the defendant is wearing or not wearing, or get to where, or what Ann said, or what she meant by this, or what this meant. Stick to your narratives. Not everybody believes them. But at the same time, if you're willing to defend this man's innocence, that means that you don't care about the victims at all and you don't care about justice. Because how can you defend a killer and defend the victims at the same time? It's not possible. What are these things? Are these like curtain holders right here? I thought they were cameras for a second. I remember people thought this light right here was a camera forever. Yeah, these are curtain holders. Couldn't help myself, Heather. I remember a lot of people were saying that this light right here was a camera. That's a camera right there in Kaylee's room. It caught everything. See, you have a good shot in her room as well. She had a big walk-in closet right here. That's a hell of a view. It's a hell of a view. And you would have had to clean that bad boy all the time. See, even from where this photographer's taking this picture, look how much detail you can see in that house. See, it looks like in Kaylee's room, there's a lot of boxes stacked up. But in some of the pictures that we've seen of her room, I have never seen boxes stacked up like that. So that must have been like after they did the investigation and they were stacking up her stuff. It's a big house. That is the mystery room number 1 at the first floor, downstairs bedroom. I don't know if y'all remember that there was rumors also going around that whoever was potentially in the house that did this crime turned off the electricity and made it totally dark, and that's why they got away with what they did. They supposedly had night vision goggles on. I mean, there's been a lot of stuff being said about this crime. A lot. Tile floors. I never knew that there was tile floors right here. Always thought that everything was wooden. That's interesting. Always wonder what this lead to. Does anybody know if this is the where the washer and dryer is, or if this is the bathroom? I think the bathroom's right here, but I always wondered what this is and if it leads all the way through or is it just a room underneath. Do y'all know if that's a washer and dryer room? I think I remember back in the day that I saw it was washer and dryer, but I don't know. Does anybody know? Yeah, everyone's a guilter. A laundry bathroom. Okay. I'm sick of that name. I'm sick of it. It's dumb. Okay, that is a washer and dryer in the bathroom on the second floor. Okay, gotcha. Utility room. Gotcha. That's what I thought, but I wasn't certain, so I didn't want to speak, on something that I didn't know about. I mean, depending on what her bed was, maybe she could have heard somebody walking across the living room floor, depending on how bad these floors creaked. We don't know. If her bed was over here, she could have heard, there could have been weak spots in the woods. She could have heard somebody walking or even running or walking fast or whatever was going on outside of Xana's room, any of that. And that is just a map. See, all this stuff went into great detail. A blue light on a walkway in an apartment building. This is in the back of the Queen Road apartments. This is the last door leading next to the house. I don't know why they were searching that apartment, but I've seen this picture more than once. See, there's a nighttime shot. And see, you can see into Kaylee's room, and it doesn't look like anything's packed up. Yeah, exactly. There's the door to the tunnel. But you notice the lights on? Look how bright that is. I mean, I know the kitchen light's on, so it gives it a little more brightness, but these lights illuminate a lot. You know what I mean? So you could see somebody walking in and walking out, especially if they supposedly you would, I don't know. Just hard for me to believe that nobody saw anything outside that home. I was listening to this creator earlier, and they were going with this theory again. I don't know how this is a thing, but they were saying these people dressed up in these suits for photo ops. They dressed up in these suits, and people took pictures just for photo ops. What do y'all think about that? Do you think these people took the time to dress up in these hazmat suits with the mask on and everything else just so the photographer outside could take a photo of them for a photo op? I tell you, that channel has some interesting theories. I'll email them to you, Rondi. Yeah, I mean, if you've ever wore one of those masks, I mean, those things get hot really fast, and you can barely breathe in them to begin with. And they're obviously, from head to toe. So they're spraying stuff. Yeah, they were talking about, yeah, definitely. They got together and they did a photo op with the people dressed up in the hazmat suits. Yeah, there's two more. Everybody agreed to it. Say, hey, yeah, let's. The whole world is watching outside this house. Let's dress up and do a photo op while they're watching. Tell me that makes sense, guys. Does that make sense at all? I mean, I'm not the brightest guy in the world, but tell me that makes sense to you. Do you think that makes sense at all? Yeah, for what purpose? For what purpose would you dress up in this just to take a photo op? Because they're saying that there was no bodies in the house. The crime didn't happen. These people were just dressing up like this so they could cover up their tracks. Their whole belief is that there wasn't a crime. These people were just going through the house because the crime didn't happen there. It happened at Linda Lane. And these people were just trying to cover it all up, to cover their tracks. That's their theory. Oh, God forbid these people don't have a mask on or glove. Well, they got gloves on. They contaminated the whole crime scene right there. Well, we don't even know what they're doing. It looks like they're just taking pictures. So they're not touching anything. So how's that contaminating the crime scene? Because you know that they have her DNA on file. So if they accidentally scoop up some DNA and it's foreign and it's a female and it matches hers, then it's not going to be viable to the evidence. And there's the famous handprint, which this could have been anybody's handprint. As many people that were standing in that window through all the body cams and everything. I went back a few minutes and looked at the diagram. It showed that both surviving roommates on the first floor. That was the first narrative that was being pushed out at the very beginning. You're right. You're right. And I remember hearing somebody saying that that could have been the reason that Brian didn't, or whoever did this, didn't attack Dylan because they thought that, that room was empty, that both the people were at the bottom floor. That makes a lot of sense, Toes. That's a good picture right there. I remember seeing that picture. But there's a beer bottle there. There's a popcorn bag there. There's some red solo cups. So as the killer is walking by here, could they have potentially dropped anything on those items? And would that DNA be feasible? I've heard no, but I could be wrong. And this is Kaylee's room, and you can still see the computer monitor on right there. That was very early on. See, there's Maddie's room. I'm going to screenshot this one, see if you can see anything in there. There's the bathroom. Dana and Ethan's room. I suggest y'all do the same if y'all get bored, See if you can see something. I mean, photos don't lie, especially still photos. I remember seeing that at the very beginning. That was so sad, huh? You're right, Toes. Yeah, I remember that. I thought that they both were on the first floor, and I thought one of them ran out and passed out in the driveway. See, this is where how my mind was going when I first heard about this. I thought they were on the first floor. One of them ran out because they heard the crime going on, and they passed out the next morning. I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking, but I had a vivid imagination. I mean, look at all these people around. You're telling me that all these people have been paid off to create a conspiracy to frame one person, to create a narrative like a movie to frame one person. You're telling me that they went to bed and woke up not knowing their friends were gone. I agree with that. See, that's what I thought too. That it was Bethany that was the one that was unconscious, not Dylan. But I could be wrong, you know. I mean, all these pictures, they just take you back. These guys are talking about the conspiracy, the coup. They're talking about it. Hey, make sure you get that blood right. You know, make sure you splatter it just right because we want people to believe that it was a bloody crime scene. That was something I heard today too. That people went in and splattered blood on the wall because it wasn't a bloody crime scene. They just splattered the wall with blood. Make sure you get good shots with that drone because we got to make it believable. Oh, what are they putting on their feet? They couldn't be putting stuff on their shoes, right? Yeah. Both survivors ran out in a panic. One called 911 and two hysterical. Yeah, that's what I heard at the very beginning also, and I guess that's why I thought that one of them passed out right there on the ground. See, look at how smooth Xana's quarter panel is right there. There's no dent there. Look at that. Smooth. No dents, no glass. I saw something here where they're loading this stuff. See, there's no glass, no dent, nothing. She hadn't even gotten her real tags or her real license plate yet. It always makes me wonder what they're taking pictures of right here. Because this is Bethany's room. Like, what did they see right here that they're taking a picture of? It must be relative because they wouldn't be taking pictures of the windowsill for nothing, you know? See that's the other room. She's taking pictures. Like I wonder what they found on those windowsills that they're taking pictures of. They could be just other people's fingerprints, I guess. Could be anything. See, she's all up in that windowsill. That's the first bedroom. These two ladies got so much hell in the beginning because this one dropped a glove and the other one stepped on it. Then she picked it up, threw it in a bag. That was an issue for like a week. And this was on the side of the house, that window. I'm sure there was a lot of fingerprints all over the place. There was a lot of people around there. See how she's shining the light? And not only do you have to look for evidence, you also have to clear evidence. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be like, okay, well, this doesn't have anything to do with the crime. This is so and so, and they've been cleared. And there's the infamous picture of, well, you can't see it in this one, but in that other picture, you see the reflection of this lady. There it is. There's Anna, y'all. How sad. Yeah, they were focused on that empty room too. I remember when this picture came out, they would not let that go. That is Xana. That is Xana. I see it. I mean, this would be, it makes sense that this would be the generalized location of the possible crime scene. In and out. I wonder if they looked in this couch. I always wondered that also. If they looked in that couch, what if that knife would have been in that damn couch? I never thought about that, Nina. Never thought about that. I didn't think Nike made diamond shoe patterns. I don't have any that have diamond patterns. And as y'all have seen behind me, I have a lot of shoes. I can't imagine what these people are feeling as well, especially if any of them knew the victims. Can you imagine? I bet they went through this slider back and forth and to the front and back trying to find anything. What's sad is all we have is pictures, and unless you're there investigating this crime, you don't know what's been done and what hasn't been done. We're just seeing a picture. See, this picture is obviously cleaned up, everything gone. See, there's no blood that you can see on the floor. And I've heard other people talk about that kitchen would have been so bloody, there would have been blood everywhere. Do you see any blood on the floor right here in front of the slider? I have bad eyesight, but I don't. I remember seeing this picture of this guy looking in the bathroom. Exactly, Toes. Rest in peace. Rest in love. You remember the other day I told you I was going to find that picture of the dog? If y'all were in the live the other night, there's the dog. They did bring a dog to look for whatever. I wouldn't say evidence, but I would say that dog was searching for something. I don't know if it was looking for clothing or gloves or a mask. I don't know what it was looking for potentially. Drugs? I don't know. That dog was looking for stuff. I remember seeing that big dog. And you remember when they were going through the garbage looking for stuff in the garbage? Hey Stevie B, how you doing? Oh, that's what those dogs do is look for the exit route? I didn't know that. It's pretty cool. I didn't know a dog did that. These people say, wait, did the police not previously check the dumpster? I was here all day yesterday. They definitely looked around the area. However, I didn't see them moving the bags or really digging. It was full and overflowing. Active search warrant issued at the home of Queen Road. It is still sealed. Details remain closed to the public. A handful of other warrants in the works. So, November 15th, 2 days after the crime, if this is true, then they were already filing for search warrants and other kind of warrants. So what were they looking for? Where were they looking for this stuff at? You're filing for warrants. Where are you looking for this stuff at? Yeah, I remember that one. Where they visited that guy. Oh, that's another thing. That other channel doesn't believe it was a K-bar knife. Do you want to screenshot this one? I want to look in there, see if you see anything. Xana's room right here. Kaylee's. Oh, you do see the banner right there. I have never noticed that until recently. I had never seen that banner in that window. Through all the lives and everything that I've seen the news people reporting on this, have y'all ever seen that? OJ stabbed Goldman 17 times, only a few smudge of bloods on his Bronco. Exactly. I agree. I bet they did need counseling. Thank you, Stevie B. According to this picture, the one before it, let me look. You see where my cursor is? I would say her bed was right here. Because as we've seen in the other pictures, she had like a desk and a mirror and all that other stuff right here. The closet was over here. So I would say her bed would be right here. Because I believe this is the stairwell through around like this. It goes up, over, up, and then here's her room, and then her room. This house is confusing when you're looking at it like that. It's easy to get confused. It says some victims had defensive wounds and each was stabbed multiple times. But they weren't stabbed, they weren't even there. Sheldon Cornodle, cousin of one of the victims, is going door to door handing out signs looking for help solving this investigation. I never knew that. That's awesome of him. They're like, "Hey man, do you think we got this script down? Do you remember your role? Here in a couple of weeks, we're gonna go looking for a guy from out of state, and we're gonna frame him for this. Make sure you got enough of the DNA on the knife sheath, so we can make sure it's him. So we can tell the world that we're trying to frame him." Right here, that's what they're talking about. Could he have gotten in right through here? Could he have gotten in through here? See, that interests me a lot. Why they're so fixated on this window? Because they've taken photos of it, they're looking at it, they've dusted it, and they did the same with the other one. I don't know if that's protocol or if they found something. Maybe that theory holds a little bit of water where she said she looked out her window and she saw people standing around out here. Maybe that holds true. I don't know. Y'all remember she said that? Thank you. Says framing you would plant the victim blood at his car apartment and puts him in the room. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I heard Viviana say that. That's true. She's good at what she does. I mean, I respect her commentary. See this video or this photo right here? Supposedly they're looking at the what was that called? The stingray. There it is, right there in the tree. You see that stingray? That's the one they were calling 911 that night, and that stingray was able to interrupt that call. You see it, right? You see it? See it right there, Jimmy? Yeah, I see it. Wonder if these were the main investigators. The reason I said what I said earlier is they didn't have a lot of stuff right here. You know, like when somebody gets killed or somebody passes away that's famous or whatever, they have a lot of stuff usually placed there, and they didn't have a lot. So that tells me that, you know, people knew them, but they really didn't know them. That could be wrong. Well, look who just flew into town on his sleigh. Santa himself. Where's Jeff the elf? I couldn't resist, Jeff. No shade, brother. No shade. Yeah, I couldn't resist. There's Mr. Bill Thompson himself. See what I mean? There's not a lot of stuff. I mean, not like what you would think of seeing. Okay, there's some more right here. That's a pretty photo. Aw. Now, how could you see a picture like this and want somebody to be innocent? Yeah, Jeff, you should have been the one on the panel with Robert. Our hearts are with our vandals. Vandal strong. See, isn't this the church? Or is this one the church? I would think, well, if the church had anything to do with it, why would they say we stand with our vandal family if they're such bad people? Okay, this is the Performing Arts Center. So that must be the church right here. Between the hours of 5 p.m. on Saturday and 12 p.m. on Sunday. And there's that guy, Jeremy. Poor guy. I remember he submitted his DNA also. Both made clear there are no persons of interest. November 29th, 2022. About the 911 call placed November 13th, it says it was for an unresponsive female on the second floor. 2 victims were found on the second floor and 2 were found on the third floor. This was November 29th. Can you imagine? It's like anybody in that town would see you with a knife or something, they'd be like calling you in. They'd be like, I saw this guy with a knife. You got to go check him out. Next thing you know, next thing you know, you're getting pulled over and harassed for having a knife. You know? I've never understood why it's so important to identify who was the target. I haven't gotten to that part in the criminal justice studies yet, so I've yet to understand that concept. To me, they're all were a target, but that's just my very basic thinking. And this was the statement about the cyclist that was dressed in black. And this with the red Mustang that they said supposedly picked up Maddie and Kaylee at the Grub truck. Said detectives are aware of the sixth person listed on the lease at the residence, but do not believe the individual was present. And they're still saying it's a targeted attack. And there's Jack D with Murphy. If you notice, his face is not all bruised up, his nose is not swollen, he's not bloodshot or anything like that. I saw that on another video. This person had photoshopped. There's Murphy. Tell us all, Murphy. Tell us what you saw, bro. You guys can go back and read this stuff. There's Kaylee's Range Rover with snow on it. Obviously, if it had a broken window, that snow would not be able to cover the whole thing. These are the people that are believed to not have been involved. Two surviving roommates, Mel in the Grub truck video, the private party driver who took Kaylee and Madison home. The male Kaylee and Madison called numerous times during the early morning hours. Any individual at the residence when 911 was called. The individual on the lease who moved out of the residence before the school year started was not present at the time of the incident. Or the male or his friend who was thought to be a possible stalker and followed Kaylee into the parking lot of a local business in October of 2021. Y'all believe that um, the hours when Xana and Ethan were unaccounted for have anything to do with the murders? Y'all think that has anything to do with the murders? How come we don't know where Dylan was that night? Not that it matters, but how come that wasn't released in the PCA? And have you ever wondered? I wanted to say this for 3 lives now, and I just thought of it. Do you ever wonder how come Maddie, Kaylee, Ethan, and Xana supposedly came home at the same time or around the same time? Were they summoned to the house? Did somebody say, "Hey, y'all need to come home"? Or was it just coincidence that they all came home at the same time or around the same time? What do y'all think? Do you think it was coincidence? Yeah. I mean, I could see that. And they could have been texting each other, "Hey, where y'all at?" Kaylee could have been texting her from the Grub truck and saying, "Hey, where y'all at? We're at the party. We're about to leave. We're getting carbonara, whatever. We're heading home. All right, we'll see you when we get there." You just never know. I believe we're going to find out that there's less conspiracy and more innocent that was happening that night. And whatever happened to cause them to lose their lives might have just been nothing more, nothing less than just some individual wanting to kill somebody. That is the camera at Linda Lane. It looks different than Jeff's camera. And there's 1320. There's the dumpster where a person with a blinking light on his head was walking by it. The mountain lion was seen in the camera, and Bugs supposedly pointed the way of the murder. And all of these cars had glowing lights and they were on. Okay, that's the 1320. All right. And there's the white Elantra. There's the mobile gas station. Investigators. I wonder why they wanted footage from a Food City store in Kendrick and in Troy. Asked for a video at a gas station. Wonder if they found anything on this video, on these videos right here that they asked for. I never knew that they asked for it. There's the lovely Elantra. And that's when he was arrested. And that was the house. I read somewhere the other day that when they broke in to arrest him, he was running toward the basement. I don't know how true that was, but I read it. I am told when Idaho quadruple homicide suspect Brian Christopher Kohlberger was in custody, he asked if anyone else was arrested. I'm told he had a quiet blank stare. And there are the step toes. Oh, that picture right there. If you were to meet this individual, would you trust him in your house? Okay, gotcha. I'm enjoying the chat, guys. You're really talking it up. I'm enjoying that. Please hit the like button, if you will. This is when they took the stuff out of his apartment. There's a good shot of whatever they took out. Can't zoom in here, but if you screenshot that, you can zoom in. See, once we get to Koberger, people don't want to see that. They want to see all the juice on the 4 victims. They don't want to see Koberger stuff. There's no way he could have done it. No way in hell. He's innocent. Not any evidence whatsoever. I just spent all this time going through all these files right here, and you didn't see no evidence whatsoever pointing that potentially this individual could have or could not have done it. Look how red his hands are right here. And that's not from the handcuffs. Look how red they are. Looks like somebody who habitually washes their hands a lot. Y'all ever noticed that picture? I've been called creepy a lot lately, which helped me confirm that yes, BK is creepy. I heard you called a creeper earlier. Yeah, that's what I've been talking about. You know, people don't believe that there was a crime committed. But do you see his hands right there? They're red. They're like, it's hard to see in this photo, and I wish I could zoom in more, but they're red from about the middle of the forearm all the way down to the hands, and they're reddish, like burnt kind of red. Like whenever you whenever you wash your hands with hot water, but these are only like the middle of the forearm, right beneath the handcuffs. And the handcuff didn't make these. I put on enough handcuff to know what kind of marks the handcuffs make. These handcuffs did not make these red marks here. These were made by something else, and they're on both arms. Same identical way. So, what would make those that reddish tint on his hands? And it's not the film either. So, if you don't believe me, screenshot that photo and look at his hands. Yeah, it could be a chemical burn. I don't know. Like I had a relative that used to wash their hands nonstop, and their hands were always chapped and red. See, in this photo, you really can't see them, but it's still reddish. You can still see a reddish tint. But I want you to look for yourself because I don't want to be showing you what I see. Oh, do y'all see what this says? It has his name. It has a booking date. It has a booking number. Offense, murder, count 4, bond 0, court case number. Offense, burglary, count 1, bond 0, court case number. Guess what he's dressed in? Orange. So would you not assume if you saw this on a jail roster that this individual could have potentially done these things? Or would you say, how dare they dress him in orange and put this fictitious stuff on him? The next guy, though, I could see it, but not him. Mm-mm, not him. What do y'all think? Because that's how I hear it. Whenever people are talking about it, that's how I hear it, you know? Maybe he was washing his hands nonstop to make sure he did get DNA or whatever off of him. But after a month, you would have thought he would have got everything off. I don't even look into all the past stuff right here. All this stuff doesn't amount to a hill of beans because it's not like he was 13 years old when they got him. This picture right here, you ever notice that this was blood on this furniture? I think this was the desk out of Maddie's room. See the blood right there? How it dripped down the desk? Y'all see that? Well, thank you, Layla. Very good insight right there. You see that blood on that desk? I don't. If you see the original picture, the big picture, you do see the reddish stuff, and you see the smear like where they swabbed it. I see your point, Tom, but if you see the big picture, um, I'll put the link if I can find the link of where I'm getting these. Let me see. I'll put the link in the chat, and you guys can go look at these pictures because I want you to see them for yourselves. 'Cause I don't want to be that person that I don't know if y'all can copy and paste that. I think there is a wood video, but I don't have a clue where that video is. And these are the mattresses. You can see the stains on them right here. The blood stains. I don't know why they would have brought them out like that, but you know. And why would Steve say this? This is what people say. Why would Steve be talking about stuff like this? Because the man was grieving. No other reason. The investigators told him Brian Kober were close enough to 1122 that he was touching their Wi-Fi. The investigators told him. He didn't make that shit up. The investigators told him. So whether that's true or not, who's that on? That's on the investigators? you know? He waived his right to a speedy trial. And that's just telling what they got from his room, from his apartment. Here's the Mad Greek. And that's the Mad Greek talking about the People article about him going to the Mad Greek. And there's what they got out of his car. Or no, this was out of his house in Pennsylvania. His parents' house. I'm getting tired, guys. We're almost to the end. Like I said, y'all can go with that link and y'all can look up all this stuff on your own. If not, I'll put the link in the community tab tomorrow. Y'all can look at all these documents and pictures. I don't know if y'all remember that picture, but that one came out very early on, where he's supposedly on a date with somebody. Yeah, exactly. Black booties, black gloves. Good night, creeper. And there's his picture at that wedding. He always has that intense stare. And there's beautiful Xana. God bless y'all. I'm so sorry that y'all had to go through what you had to that night. This is true. As is common these days, in these situations, people try to make money off of the dead. It's a free world, and people can write and say pretty much anything they want these days. Most of the time, my family and I just ignore the chatter and the noise, but lines have to be drawn somewhere. I was recently shown the article Airmail by Howard Blum describing Kaylee, apparently quoting me and completely making up a fictional story about FBI letters, etc. Mr. Blum recently has used the murder to get back into the spotlight, appearing on an NBC show as well as the book he is writing. He has reached out through our attorney several times to speak to us, but we have declined. I just want to make it very clear to the public that we have not spoken to Mr. Blum about the death of our daughter. And that, folks, is the end. That is the end. Good night, Creeper. It's so sad. So sad. Never forget the four, because they're the reason this case even has any credence whatsoever. If that person is innocent, then he doesn't deserve his name to be spoken of or spoken about or spoken on. You still would be talking about the four people that died, right? I'd rather speak on the 4 every day of the week than speak on that fool, innocent or not. And you can call me names, you can say anything you want about me. It's not like you're related to him, you know? And like I say, if you believe he's innocent, save your money, go to the trial, and find out for yourself if it was money well spent. Because in reality, whether he's innocent or guilty, still 4 people died. And that should be more of a headline than what you believe about innocence or guilt. You know? You guys that have endured this chat for 2 hours, thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. And to anybody else who was watching this, to go report back to your creators. To have a problem with anything I say, ask around. You'll get my email. You can talk to me directly. I can say what I want on my channel, right? Like you told me, stay in my lane. Well, I'm in my lane. I'm on my channel. I'm not talking on your chat or in your channel. So I respect the right for you to do the same. You stay in your lane and do as you wish. I'm not the one who had the judgment or the final call. Well, you can watch it on replay. It's pretty long. I'm glad you're here, Bullets. I'm glad you're here, and everybody else. Y'all have a wonderful night. Can you dig it? Can you guys dig it? If you can't dig it, get yourself a bigger shovel. Maestro, cue that music.